Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now in this episode, uh, I wanna give a little tutorial about how you can get a quick start in the game and just to kind of kickstart you and help you out in whatever empire building strategies you have going for you. So this is going to be a very beginner friendly way of beginning the game. So we're going to start from what is probably the most common start with it, which is the young gun start. We're going to skip the intro here because we've heard it 1,000 times. So this sequence, or I guess the thing I'm going to be showing in this tutorial, it can basically be done in half an hour. And you get all the money you need to do it within, in the start itself. It's going to leave you with a lot of money to buy a lot of ships, probably trading ships, which will allow you to get a steady income and some relationship with some factions early on. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I did do this start in that I tried to do a pirate let's play and I uploaded the first episode, but it wouldn't work out. So most of you haven't seen this. It was, I think, 6 people who saw that episode before I deleted it, but yeah. So here we are in the normal start. Now don't pay much attention to the mods I have installed. They do not impact this start at all. So here we have our ship. We start at an Argon equipment dock. And the first thing we're going to do is to upgrade this ship, and we're going to get ourselves a marine. We're going to add that to the shopping list and confirm. So now we got a marine. Now with marines you can capture ships. Usually this involves, damaging their hulls, blowing up their turrets and all of that good stuff. With this ship that we have right here, we can't really do that, so we're not going to. We're going to find a derelict ship, a destroyer to be exact. And you can find this in any game start. It spawns in the same area, and I'm going to show you where. It's not a far travel from the galactic center with the highway. It's just a couple of jumps away from that, so anyone can find this in the relative beginning of their game. I just gotta make sure I'm going the right way. Of course I'm not, because I'm kind of dumb. But we are going to get to Argon Prime. And the reason we're getting to Argon Prime is basically because that is where the closest connection point to the highway is. For those of you who don't know, who maybe haven't bought this game, who haven't played it, who haven't seen it, the highway is a circular highway that goes through a lot of jump gates, which you're going to see one soon. Which transports you to a different sector, so kind of speeds you through a lot of sectors and a lot of stations and a lot of factions. You actually get to see most of the factions of the game going through the highway. Of course, there are many other sectors with many other stations, and even a couple of factions that you don't get to see traveling the highway. But the highway, it is kind of the galactic center. You can access most things from the highway. So when something is close to the highway, it's accessible, it's nice, and the destroyer that we are going to capture is near the highway. Now again, for those of you who don't know, a destroyer in this game is a relatively large ship. It's the 3rd largest class, and it is the largest dedicated fighting ship class in the game. The largest ship, and by far the most expensive, would be the carriers, followed by the auxiliary ships. and then by the destroyers. So what we are going to do is we're going to capture the destroyer and we are going to sell it for a tidy profit. Now we can of course also keep it, but while fun, that doesn't really bring many gameplay benefits. There's really no benefit of having destroyers unless you're planning to destroy enemy capital ships or stations, and in the early game that's not a part of your memo. Alright, so here we have the Galactic Highway. We are going to the right, I think. Yes. Or left, rather. But we have to take the furthest highway, and we're just gonna fly through Argon Prime. Or no. Maybe we want to go right. I should have remembered this better.
Requesting immediate backup.
I just gotta see where this this thing here leads. The true side, yeah, we're going this way. So we're not going to Argon Prime. So when you get to second contact, go to the left.
System, true sight.
Now we need to get through true sight, and we're gonna take off the highway in the next sector. Because that is where the jump gate to where we need to go is. So here we are in Holy Vision. We're gonna jump off the highway immediately, and we're gonna fly over to this other one. Let me just check if I'm recording. It seems I am indeed. Wonderful. So let's continue. So we're gonna follow this highway to its end and jump through this jump gate. Now this jump gate leads us to hostile territory. It leads us to a Xenon sector. The Xenon are basically rogue AIs that wants to kill all living things. So we're just gonna speed on through here because we do not want to linger here for more than we have to. The ship you see to your top left right now, that is a Xenon K. That is a destroyer class, and it's probably the strongest destroyer in the game. And you cannot get it. Now, of course, you can modify your destroyers to be of a level similar to that of a Xenon K, and even surpass it if you're lucky with your modification rolls. But usually speaking, you want at least one destroyer and a couple of escorts to take down a single Xenon K. Or you want to pilot the destroyer yourself. Usually when you pilot the destroyer or a carrier or whatever you're using to fight the Xenon K with, when you're piloting it yourself, you do a better job. Because, well, the player is superior to the AI in these games. Usually. That depends on you, the player. So, when you get to this system, just head left towards this superhighway here. We're gonna fly through this superhighway. And it is in this sector that we're flying to now that has the destroyer that we are going to capture. But before that, we are going to have to get through this minefields. Alright, here we are. And we're gonna go in this direction. about there. And this ship, it spawns in the same place every time. And it's usually like circa where I'm flying now. The thing is, depending on where things like stations and stuff like that spawn, the actual map expands. So just placing a point down on the map might actually expand the or it might be longer away than what it actually is, because the ship spawns at specific coordinates away from the sector's center. So if you expand the sector, it will seem as if the ship is closer to the center, but it's really not. It's at the same distance as always. It's just that the map has been expanded to accommodate things like random mine or station spawning. At least as far as I understand it. So, but it's always in this direction, and it's usually in circa that place I put down the marker. And if not, we have a 30-kilometer radar range, so we'll be able to pick up the ship on our radar, probably. And we're getting closer. And there it is. So we're gonna fly up to this Odysseus Vanguard, and we are just going to press a single button, and then we're gonna fly out of the sector. So here it is. We're gonna press A, or alternatively, if you're using your mouse, you right click and you press claim. Your Marine is going to diligently fly out of your ship, like so, and approach the vessel. And hopefully actually work. Sometimes this happens. It kind of bugs out. What you need to do in these cases is simply fly out of the sector. We're gonna fly to safe space over here. So we're just gonna get out of here. We've already given the order to the Marine to capture the ship, and when we jump out of the system, the simulations should run without the animations. And it is usually the animations that get stuck, not the simulations. So we're gonna fly out, we're gonna capture the ship, and when we've captured the ship, we'll just sell it immediately.
We found something out here.
And we have already captured it. Wonderful. So let me show you how this works. We're going to select the Odysseus Vanguard here. It's going to show up as green. We're going to go over to a wharf we know. The wharf we know right now is the one in Argon Prime. We're going to right click it, and we're going to sell this ship, and we're going to get 9 million. Like so. And within just a few minutes of the game, you get 9 million credits. Now what can you do with 9 million credits? Well, you can buy a mining fleet, for example. Let's select the minimum preset, and let's just get a few more crew. Like so. And you can get 30 of these ships. Actually, even more. So you can get a really nice mining and or trading fleet to go around making you money, making you able to do whatever you want. So that has been my quick and dirty how-to, and I hope you enjoyed this little episode. and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a good one.